They all said the same thing, at least those who weren't too embarrassed by what had happened to them to actually talk about it. But they all said the same thing, and maybe you're thinking it too. It can't happen to me. Well, it's time for some straight talk. It can and will happen to you or someone you know or love, unless you take the time and invest the energy into learning how to keep yourself safe from scammers, period. 2023 saw over 880,000 people scammed out of $12.5 billion. That's a 22% increase from 2022. Look, I get it. Someone reaches out to you, an alluring, attractive, beautiful woman, a handsome man, reaches out to you randomly on a dating site. And you engage with them and you start to get to know them and you go back and forth and you share things about yourself and they share things about themselves. Or maybe you get a random WhatsApp or SMS message and you respond to it and you start engaging a little bit, right? And there's that feeling like, I'm getting to know somebody that's pretty cool. And they, in fact, may be a genuine person who's pretty cool. But you know what? If they're a scammer, there are very clear signs you can look out for because the conversation's going to transition at some point. And when you start to get suspicious after seeing the signs of this transition, which I've covered in multiple videos before, when you start to become suspicious that, hey, this has taken a turn, there are 5 very clear tactics that scammers employ. Sometimes just one of them, sometimes all of them. And when you start to run that thought in your mind like, I wonder why they asked me that. Why are they mentioning investments? Why is it that they always seem to need money because a family member is sick or in the hospital or they want to come see me, but I have to buy the tickets, whatever it may be. When the conversation turns to money and you get that first hint in your mind, like maybe something's wrong here, I'm not sure I like how this conversation's going. There are 5 things you can look out for that are very clear signposts that will tell you to press the pause button. My name is Philip Macko. I'm the host of the Muddy Waters YouTube series and podcast, and this is an important one, so thank you for tuning in. I covered in a previous video the stimulus response effect of interactions and how the brain releases oxytocin, dopamine, adrenaline, and how these quote unquote drugs can be addictive. That's the get to know you phase. Let's talk about the phase that occurs after when you start to be suspicious. Their approach has to build rapport, gain trust, and it has to. They have to connect with you. You have to engage back with them. There has to be an exchange of information, right? You have to get to know them. They have to get to know you. What are your hobbies? What do you love to do? What makes you passionate? What are you afraid of? Tell me about your family. Where do you live? This is all the method that scammers use to collect information that eventually they're going to use against you. But there comes a point in the conversation where they have to pivot, where they have to turn to something financial, a need they have, an investment they can advise you on, whatever it looks like. And that should draw your attention. What happens, you start to get suspicious. You start to think to yourself, hey, what's going on here? And you're going to ask a question, right? You're going to text something, you're going to be in a phone call with them, and you're going to say or do something that tells them you might be starting to get suspicious of them. How they respond tells you everything. Let the games begin. We're going to cover 5 tactics used by scammers, the first being gaslighting. The term was actually coined from a 1938 play that eventually became a movie, where a husband was trying to convince his wife that she had lost her mind by turning up and down the gas lights in their home and then convincing her that she was imagining the whole situation. Gaslighting techniques, as employed by a scammer, are designed, just as in the play or the movie, to cause you to question yourself, to question your memory, to question your trust in yourself, to question what you're feeling, even question your own identity. Here's what it sounds like. In the romance scams where they're scamming you out of money, mom's in the hospital. You send a little bit of money, and then mom took a turn and I need more, and I'm so sorry to ask, but I need your help. In the investment scams, you've made a little money, they've convinced you to reinvest. Now you make a little more money, and the returns are just amazing. But at a point you go like, hey, is this too good to be true? What's going on? Their response is going to sound like this: you're just being paranoid, or how can you ask me that? Or why would you turn this on me? It's not about me, it's about you. You told me that XYZ, fill in the blanks. You told me you trusted me. Why don't you trust me now? This isn't about me. This is about you. This is about your past relationships. That's how it sounds. There's always going to be a hook phrase involved. They're going to insert something they've learned about you personally, and they're going to turn it back on you. That is gaslighting. Here's how you respond: be assertive, make I statements, set boundaries, respond, but don't react. Apply Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is most likely the truthful one. When you stand your ground and the response you get feels truthful to you, keep talking. You may be talking with a genuine person. When it doesn't, apply Occam's razor and stop. Tactic number 2, social engineering. A friend introduces you to a quote unquote investment expert who can help you. You meet somebody online and they say, yeah, I know X and Y and Z, or you look at their profile and they have connections with X or Y or Z, and it gives you the confidence that this person must be trusted by others, so I should trust them as well. Let me tell you why that doesn't work. Let's explore social engineering and let's take it to a big level. There was an employee in Hong Kong for a UK-based engineering firm that received an email and an invitation to a conference call from his quote-unquote CFO. He joined the call, video conference call, mind you, joined the call and interacted with senior executives from his company that he recognized, who told them they needed him to send money. 15 transactions later, 26 million was scammed out of this organization by deepfakes. AI has advanced in its abilities. It can recreate your voice, your emotions, even recreate an image of you. Ask the South Korean woman who lost $50,000 to a romance scam thinking she was meeting with Elon Musk. That's right, Elon Musk. Whether manufactured by AI or perhaps a person they introduced to the conversation, the whole idea of social engineering is to convince you that someone else trusts them, therefore you should. When you see the signs of social engineering, when someone else joins the conversation by phone, voice, by even video these days, ask yourself some questions. Apply Occam's razor. When in doubt, when someone new is introduced, whether by voice or even by video based on AI technologies, triangulate, stop, press pause, ask questions, involve others. Scammers don't want you talking to family or friends. So say to them, yeah, I'm going to check with my buddy and see what he thinks about this and see what their response is. If they try to limit you back to the people that they're referring you to and not those friends you trust, there's a sign. And look, remember to trust your gut. Trust the initial reactions that you feel. We're hardwired for survival, and our instincts, like the aggregate of our life experience, tell us something should be questioned. And when we feel that feeling, we have to honor it and we have to probe it. And social engineering is designed to get us to question those things, to get us to trust someone else as opposed to our own feelings. Don't fall for it. Disengaged. Look up publicly the company website that is reaching out to you and reach out to them and ask them if they're trying to contact you. Call your CEO. Verify. Verify verify. Look, do a basic Google search. You'll find so much information. If what you're experiencing matches what you see online in terms of scam victims and what they've shared, there's your sign. Projection is a very different thing than gaslighting. Projection is when a person places their own feelings, behaviors, characteristics, and or actions on you. A scammer becomes more and more demanding of your time, attention, even money. You ask them to explain why they seem to be becoming more demanding, to which they reply, "You're the one being demanding. Why are you asking me this? We've already talked about this. Remember when you said insert something they learned in the hook phase, right? Why are you going back to this again? I thought you insert loved me, trusted me, wanted my financial help, wanted my advice. What's changed?" Or simply this: "It's you who's being demanding. Do you want my help, love, advice, or not?" Remember, someone who has your best interest in mind doesn't need to pull your strings, doesn't need to manipulate you. They're going to be honest and upfront, and you're going to know it. Remember, scammers have taken time to get to know you. They know your reactions. They've tested the waters. They're trained to do this. They're given scripts to do this. And maybe the other techniques don't work. Maybe they just want to string you along. And how do they do that? They keep moving goalposts. "My mom is in the hospital. She's very ill. I need your help." And you send them money. And then you get messages saying, "Oh, she's doing so much better. Thank you. You made such a difference in her life." And then a day or two or a week or whatever it is later, "Oh, she took a turn again. Oh my gosh, you were so helpful. Can you help me again?" Maybe it's on the investment side of the equation, right? Look how much money you've made. Imagine how much more you can make. And when you finally resist, they say to you, "Well, you want your money back?" Oh, there's a catch. You have to prepay taxes. You have to pay an attorney. You have to pay insurance. You have to pay some sort of surety bill. There's always a reason where you have to send more and more money until you finally stop or you start resisting. Whatever the case may be, that's where the road ends, my friends. So this is important. If you've fallen victim, if you're experiencing something that you're concerned may be a scam, and you've looked at the other signs, maybe those don't apply, but maybe you're seeing goalposts get moved, it's time to stop, because the only goal of the scammer is to get as much from you as they possibly can before you surrender. When you have money that you made from investment, you need to be able to get that money. It needs to be available to you. And if the goalpost starts moving, "Oh, you have to do this before you get your money, and you have to send me that before you get your money," whatever the case may be, that is moving in the goalpost. Cut your losses. Cut your losses. And the final thing to look out for is what I call the gas pedal, brake pedal effect. And here's how scammers use it: by alternating between gas pedal behaviors such as love bombing, where a scammer showers you with attention, affection, praise, and the like. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and for a reason you can't understand, they hit the brakes. They stop responding to messages. They begin ignoring you, or worse, become short or even critical of you. Then maybe an excuse, an apology, and maybe not. And then they go back to love bombing. Scammers play on your reinforced addiction to dopamine dumps, ones that they've carefully crafted. During love bombing, the dopamine dumps occur. You feel validated, loved again, alive again. During the brake pedal phase, you crave what you're missing. You crave the dopamine dumps. The only goal of gas pedal, brake pedal behavior is to keep you off balance, to keep you afraid that you may fall, to give you the reward you need, that dopamine dump, to keep you addicted, then take it away from you and make you crave that feeling again and again and again. If you take away nothing else from this video, just remember this:
Real people, honest people, good people don't have to play games. They tell the truth, and the truth becomes self-evident. Whenever you see one of these 5 signs, maybe many of these 5 signs, it's time to start asking questions, and it's time to press the pause button. Thank you again for joining me, and I hope that this was an informative session for you. I hope it got you thinking. I hope it shared with you some ways to evaluate whether a person you might be exchanging emails or texts or even phone calls or video calls, whether or not they're on the level and legit. And listen, if you like this episode, please click the thumbs up button. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe. And please do also share this with someone that you think can benefit from the things that we've covered today. Thank you again for joining. I hope you have an excellent day, and please stay safe.